Good morning. So it's 6:35. I'll be screening for the two setups. Not going to be for a while for any setup to happen, unless there are pre-market ones. So stay tuned. If VCNX can bounce here, okay, no. So no bounce there. So it's still holding a 1 minute trend on VCNX. It's a bit extended on the 5 minute 90 EMA, which is the red line here. But yeah, I think the higher the better. It'll get extended on the 5 minute, and we can look for a inverted cup and handle here for a short. But it'll probably break the highs. So far this flag looks like it's filling. So if it can bounce off 760 and create a lower high, potentially, but okay. Let's see if we can bounce off this level. It's not the best risk to reward ratio, so you get a bounce here. So if this created a higher lower high, then it'll be like the inverted cup and handle for the 757 break. I might just try something really small here if it does break, but it's not the best. You're risking almost 40 cents to make, I guess, a buck on 757 break, but okay, so there was a break, but it was a little too early for me. Yeah, I'll probably just avoid this. But yeah, looks like it's going to retest the 5 minute trend. Yeah, so there was a potential setup there. So you got a cup, and then this bounce was the handle. So it's a cup, handle, and then you could have shorted the 757. But I don't like the action. I feel like it's a lot of volume, so you could easily get squeezed. I'd be more interested if it sets up a long. Let's see, so but it will need to pull back and test the 5-minute or consolidate a little longer for it to catch up. JFU is forming a big cup and handle from pre-market highs, so this could get interesting if we can consolidate a little longer here, and then you can draw another flag line. So you can see on the 15-minute chart, it looks decent. The 5 minutes, I think it needs to hold, you know, a candle above the 5-minute. So maybe the next 3 minutes, 2 minutes, it would close above the 5-minute EMA. Maybe retest the line at 342s and set up a higher low around 330 or so. Then you can risk 10 cents for this break here, and potentially it'll break the bigger cup. But I'll keep that on watch. JFU. So tested the 50-minute. Yeah, the daily's kind of out there now. It broke. So yesterday high was also 350. Today it managed to hit that. The daily's a little bit extended, so I'm gonna set an alert here for 330s. It's been holding the hourly chart. It's looking a lot bearish now. So JFU might actually might actually set up an hourly reversal, but it might not be until after 7 Western. So it's forming this cup here. It can kind of pop up, retest VWAP to confirm as resistance, and maybe do a little handle here. The what is this break? 311 break can potentially, you know, break the hourly 90 MA trend here, and potentially retest the daily 90 MA around 250s or so. So it has a long way there to retest, but it's not ready yet. I think any break of this might be a little premature, but potentially it can go at least test the hourly chart at 290s. So 311 break for 290s, but right now your risk is like this high is 325, so that's 14 cents risk with a 20-cent profit. So it's not the best. So you want to potentially have another bounce at this level at 311. Maybe yeah. But if this confirm like pops over VWAP and the higher low here on the VWAP area, then it's also interesting for a long. So this pops up, touch the flag line, higher low here, and then you could buy the break. By the break, risking that higher low. So far, VWAP is holding as resistance. $311 break. Okay. I probably like this better if it sets up long. So if it pops over VWAP, hold VWAP as support, and then you can buy that flag, risking VWAP. But if it does set up for that 311 break, I might just take it small. $315 is this low. So I'll probably try this 315. If it sets up a low here, then I'll probably just risk that 5 cents and try the 315 break. The stock is hard to borrow, so I have to see if I have any locates. Throwing a share there. Okay. So I might try the 315 break. If it doesn't break here and goes over VWAP, Alright, so I feel at 314 there, but so shorted 314 JFU. So I want this to wash and break this 311. Yeah. So there's the break. So I took this small cup and handle with a bigger cup and handle, and you can see that wash. So I'm gonna take off 100 shares. So the hourlies right here at 288. So it might bounce off that level. I'm just down 300 shares, so I didn't go like any huge size or anything. Oh yeah, so that was. Alright, so it reached the hourly target on this short. So I'm just down 200 shares, but I think to break this hourly, it probably needs to pop up, retest 311, and then do another cup and handle here, and then you break the hourly chart. So it might give a bounce here. So if it doesn't get going, but you can see on the hourly chart, it has this wick. So it's a little weak. But yeah, it might not be, we'll see if it continues. If it doesn't continue, I'll probably take it out here and then re-add my shares at 310. So I took off the rest of my 200 shares at 295 there. I think it has potential to come back at 304 at least, and then 310. Initially, the hourly was my target, around the 380s, low 380s. So up $99 from that trade. Didn't go, huge size, but it was a quick little trade. So I saw this cup and handle forming, and then I was picking another cup and handle here, and then this was the 315 break. So I shorted that 315 break, and then it had a nice wash lower. So it looks like it may. I still think it's gonna retest 3.3s or 3.10s before it goes lower, because the hourly is being supported by the hourly right now. So I'll watch this, but I think it might not be for another hour or so before it breaks this hourly. If it breaks here, it might not go as far. But there is, on the hourly chart, there is this cup and then this bigger handle, but I think what I want to see is an hourly close here, which is an hour from now, and then consolidate and breaks this 384 area, this low. Yeah, so you can see that the stock's probably gonna trend back up here at 311s. So I'll probably just set an alert below. I'll be scanning for more stocks there. VCNX. Yeah, so this is the first 9 EMA test on JFU. So you can see it went down, bounced towards the 9 EMA, and now people are reshorting here or selling. Oh, hi James. So to short hard to borrow stocks, you need to be in the hard to borrow program. And there's a minimum account requirement to be in that program. So you need to get your account above like 100,000, and you'll be able to short the hard to borrow stocks. But that does incur fees, short fees, locate fees. But it's really cheap compared to other brokers. Like for a month of fees, I probably have like $200 of fees and short fees, which is relatively pretty low. Like any other broker would be like easily like 5x that. Yeah, so it's JFU. I feel like it's too extended here, so I don't think it'll probably go as much lower. You can see that's struggling here, but I think it's going to retest the at least 308s area for the 5-minute EMA before it comes back. But we could watch this an hour later for that full reversal of the hourly. You can see in that the daily chart, the daily 9 EMA is at 227, so it has room to actually fade all the way back there. Yeah, so James, so what I do is sometimes there's availability, right? So there might be some stocks that are hard to borrow that don't have the supply. So what I do is I just add a short order, like way above whatever it's trading at. So like if I want to short JFU, I want to short 500 shares, I would just add a short order like way above it, like a 3, and then usually if it's available, then it won't reject this order. But if it does reject it, it'll say that can't locate the shares or is unavailable. If that happens, you could call the broker and see if they can locate it. But if your order goes through for the hard to borrow stocks, then it's shortable. And usually I just move this around to short it, so you don't have to pre-locate it. And then I also added this column here, the HTP ETP column, and it shows you what stocks are hard to borrow and easy to borrow, and then there's none to borrow. But I heard that for the none to borrow, you can also call them, and they may also locate those for you. Yeah, so you can see it struggled there. So it's on JFU. It's a bit extended. You can see it went from 350 to 280s, tested the hourly. So this is a premature hourly break here. So, but what I want to see is go back to 310 and then have some new buyers, like dip buyers, and then once that failed to hold in the next hour and then goes back to 280s, then that's where you can look at shorting again. But right now it's too far on the downside, extended, to take any trade there. Let's scan through some other stocks. WATT, it's attempting to bounce off the hourly chart here. Has a little flag off a pre-market high and has this resistance at 550s. So it did quite some volume in pre-market as well, so there might be some buyers up here that are waiting to sell. So I'm not too fond to go long on this type of chart. And it's also under VWAP, so it's not really attracting. But there might be like a short scalp, squeeze just with it, just breaking like 355 or so for this trend break, maybe towards VWAP. But it's not my typical trade. If it does set us up here. P. So P broke this pre-market high here at this level, pretty high volume, and then it fell, kind of did the same, breaking highs, fell, potentially this can fade, but the hourly chart is so close that your risk to reward ratio isn't worth it to take. So CTXR looks pretty interesting here. So if we can retest 190s, like dip below 190, and then maybe bounce off this as resistance and then a higher low. So this pulls back 190, comes back to 197's higher low at 193. This could be a good trade to take. So right now let's try and hold this as a support level. But you also have the 5-minute, or if it kind of consolidate for the close of this 5-minute, then you'll have the 5-minute kind of catch up. But yeah, a pullback here would be nicer. And all the time frame is caught up. So you got the hourly test here, 15-minute, 30-minute test, and then this would be the 5-minute test. So there's 190 pullback. Also, if it kind of pull back and confirms VWAP as support and 5-minute, that'll be good too. All right, so this low is 192. High is 207s. Okay, so hopefully this pulls back, but also I might try to take yeah, I'm gonna try to take this. $2 break, buying it. So it's a little early, but it was a pretty tight risk for their 6-cent risk. So I'm attempted to take that break there. So I'm in 1,600 shares. My stop at 192. So there was some volume there. So let's see if we can hold 2. So there's a lot of sellers at 2. So let's see if we can pick up. If it doesn't immediately get going, I'll downsize if it breaks just below the 90 MA. But my first target would probably be high of days, 207s. Yeah, so that's a quick little trade, but it's battling here. So let's see if we can get to So that push, pulled the 5-minute EMA up. So now it has like some support there. It looks a little weak. So I downsized there at 2. Took half my position off just to minimize my risk. And let's see if it holds the 9 EMA. The 5 minutes at 193. Okay, so you're getting volume picking back up. The daily chart doesn't look too bad. Three break. So it wasn't the cleanest break because it was a little bit extended. Had to kind of consolidate a little longer, like one more test, and then that higher low that I was talking about over around this area, it would have been a cleaner breakout. So I might re-add my shares if it breaks 203. So the more it consolidates, the 5 minute will eventually catch up to this, and it will look a little better. So what I'm going to do is I probably take off 198 and then rebuy the 194s. Alright, so I'm stopping out there just to minimize my loss. So $14 loss there. I might rebuy the 194s. Let's see. 193s. I'm just gonna have a buy limit here at 193. So it hit 193, didn't fill my order there. So I'm going to take off 193 for now. Since the 193 break, if it consolidates, breaks 193, it will probably test the 190s for the 15 minute. And actually that will look better. Actually, if it sets up a retest here at 191, 190s, and then attempt the flag line again and higher low there would be a better breakout. Yeah, so this might have went prematurely, so that's why we're getting a harsher pullback. Because we went 192 to 203, so it's a big move. Had it do a flag test here and like not break out, and then a higher low around this area, and then break around here in like 10 minutes from there, or 5 minutes, it would have been a better chart. So 203 break is the next break, and I think that should break higher days. So it's testing the 5-minute EMA here at 193. So I had an order initially there, but it didn't fill. But let's see how it reacts to this. If it creates a higher low here, or lower high right here, then it'll probably break to retest 180s, 188. Yeah, but that's how I kind of minimize my risk level. So you can see, just to recap, for this trade, CTXR, there was this flag potential break here. It was a bit extended on the 15-minute chart, and it was extended on the 5-minute, but this break dragged up the 5-minute EMA, so it looked like it tested it. So it broke about the 199's $2 break, went to the high of 203s here. I was kind of expecting, high of day break at 207s, but when that fell and break down, I kind of downsized, half shares, and then took it off when it broke the 90 EMA trend. So that's how I minimize my risk to a very small amount. But if it went, then it would have been a great trade. Maybe like at least $100, $200 trade. So you can see it form a inverted cup and handle here. So there's no reason to hold this right now. It'll probably retest the 190s, 188s or so that I was mentioning on the 15-minute EMA, since it was a little bit extended. It had a pretty huge move. If it had retested the flag line and then trailing the like a higher low around this area and then break the flag, it would have looked a lot better. And people would have gotten behind it. But it doesn't look like it'll set up again until maybe confirming 198 as support. So like break above this 198. 15-minute will be caught up, and then maybe in 20 minutes we can look at it again. So I'll set an alert here, like 198 or like 199. See if it comes back there. So that's that trade. So JFU, yeah, just to recap, this was the short here. So inverted cup and handle, and a mini inverted cup and handle for the entry at 314 here, and it washed all the way here for that short. Then I took the profits around the hourly chart, which is the orange line, and it's trying to defend the hourly chart right now. But that was a $99 win. I think in 30 minutes it might break. It might break this 284 level, and it might have another leg down, but ideally I want it to consolidate another 30 minutes. So 30 more minutes on JFU, and we might look for an hourly reversal. So if you look at the hour chart, you can see the hour chart is like you have 4 red candles, so it's extended, right? We're currently on this candle, 30 more minutes until this gets closed. You want to kind of have some green candles there, and then when it breaks that hourly, which is like 280, 280, around 280s, then you'll have room to test the daily 9 EMA, which is at 225. But I was also interested in watching this for the long at 350. Like the previous day was 350, it hit 350 today, and it could have did a flag as well and break 350s. So there was a potential long setup here. I was watching it initially around this area, so I had it kind of recover VWAP, test the flag line, and higher low here. Then that would have been a valid long signal for me, like breaking this flag, risking the higher low at 5 cent risk, and potentially you can make like 15 cents towards higher day, or break that 350 right on the daily chart. So it's right now it's consolidating. It's potentially creating a bear flag right here. So this I feel like it's a little bit extended, and it's not like the best setup, but if it does break this, I might try to take it for a small risk. It is a bear flag. You can see the little cup and handle forming. But yeah, like I mentioned, the hourly is a bit extended. VCNX, let's check that out. VCNX. So VCNX doesn't look too bad, but it's not a long yet for me. You can see it's has broken down the VWAP level. It's kind of battling VWAP right now. The 15-minute EMA is at 680. So to have a valid long setup for me is it would need to get back over this level. So it needs to get back over 7. So I had this level at 757s, but we can move that to 760, 770. So you can see VCNX support at 770 level here, right? Broke above it, now it's acting as resistance. So what you want for a long setup will be breaking above the 770 level, hitting the flag line somewhere. So I just drew this flag line pretty wide, but hit the flag line somewhere, and then confirming 77 as support as a higher low here. and then the break of that flag, that's where you would enter long, and your risk would be 770. So that's how I would play this if it sets up, but it might not be for another for some time until that happens. If it doesn't happen, then no long setup for me. So I'll create a alert at 770s here. If it comes back, yeah, you can see it's gonna retest this 670 level, 15-minute EMA. So definitely, you know, I don't want to be long here. It's not a downtrend. And it's also good to understand you know, two sides of the trade, like short and long. So you can see for VCNX, this was the 5-minute trend here on this red line, and you can see it created a inverted cup here and then a handle in the break of this. So you got some shorts piled in there, big red volume. So the shorts are piling there, and then they're re-adding to the pops at that resistance. So they're expecting it to go down. But if it reclaims 770, those shorts that piled in here around this area will need a cover, and then you might have a potential squeeze when you in fact break this flag. Yeah, so helping to understand the two-sided trade can help you avoid the other side of the trade if you're looking into it. But I keep my bias open on both sides, and I play what the chart tells me. So you can see it's not a long setup here. It would need to get back over VWAP at 770 and set up a flag there. So I set an alert there. If it goes back up, then I'll watch it for a long. If it doesn't, it could continue to fade all day. It's a bit extended on the daily chart. So NXTD looks interesting. So let's see if we can draw some trend lines here. NXTD. So it has this flag line off pre-market highs. So it has this flag line on pre-market highs, and then we can start drawing another flag line here. So this was a good bounce. If this confirms as support, 284s. So you can see it's resistance, support, break, resistance. Now this kind of confirms support here. And like I want more sideways. If it breaks here, it's a little premature, and I don't think it'll go too far. Like if it sets up in 15 minutes, 10 minutes of sideways around here, confirming the 284 as support, then this would be a good setup that I would take. So yeah, let's see if this sets up. We're just gonna hold now. Yeah, so it's trying to go a little early, which I don't like. I mean, I understand, yeah, people could buy here 294, and they're risking 287s, which isn't too bad, but I think on a larger time frame, it's a bit extended. So if you look at the on the side here, the 15-minute has already at this big bar, so you want it to at least this candle close and then have another candle where it can, I guess, break above that candle. So this candle, you know, less likely it'll be like a big candle and it breaks all the other 15-minute candle. I mean, it could happen, and we see it in this market where there's a lot of chasers, but see, you can see it broke out prematurely there, and pretty much they're not stopping out because these are too extended on the larger time frame. And on the 15-minute chart, on the 5-minute chart, this one below here, so it's looking a little better on the 5-minute chart. If it consolidate above the 5-minute chart here, trend, then you can see it's this big cup, and then this handle will start to form, and then the break of this would be a play that I would take. But yeah, right now all the time frame looks all caught up. The hourly is tested the 9 EMA. The daily kind of tested the 9 EMA yesterday, so it had potential to break today. Yesterday high was 295. It broke 3 today, so I can extend this flag. Some more consolidation here, and then the break of 295 so would be a trade I'll take if it sets up. Hey Jamiza. So VCNX, I kind of explained this a little earlier. So VCNX, it is testing the 675. So I would, you know, depending on what type of trader you are and what your risk level is. I'm not sure how much you're risking, but yeah, 4,000 shares is a lot. But depending what your risk level was, so it might bounce off this 15-minute EMA around the 670. It might come back to 770. I was kind of explaining that the 770 level is a key level. So bears are in control if it's below 770, because you can see you have a inverted cup, a little handle, broke the 770. Now people are shorting pops. They're shorting here or selling, short or selling, and then now it's gonna downtrend. So it looks really bearish. So yeah, depending on where, yeah, 723. So yeah, if you did bought this, then it's not good because it's below VWAP and it's below this resistance. So right now it might bounce off this 15-minute EMA towards VWAP at 750, but I'll probably, you know, cut it for a break even if it goes back there. But if it goes over 770, like if it curls here, pops over 770, holds 770 as support, you can draw that flag line. So it pops over here, 770 as support, breaks the flag at 8, then it'll go higher. So you can see it's going to get a little bounce here at 715, or the 15-minute EMA. So yeah, we'll see. But it looks pretty bearish as of now. But I can see it bouncing to 750 again, where it can, potentially stop break even. But if it goes above that and supports 770, then I would take that trade as a long. But until then, I'll wait till that sets up. And I had an alert here at 770 to see if it comes get over it. Yeah, no problem. So I'm watching NXTD. So NXTD, the 15-minute chart is closing right now as we speak. So right now it looks a little better. You have this candle closed on the 15-minute chart. Oh, sorry. So you have this this candle here close at the 15-minute chart. So now it looks a little good here. If it breaks above the 15-minute here, and now your 5-minute is shaping up to be a candle here. So you're getting some volume after that 15-minute close. So what I want to see now is a 294 test, a higher low around 280, 88. So, and then the 293, 94 break. 295 will get things going, but let's see how. 1,200 shares. So a little bit more consolidation on NXTD. Yeah, so this is a little too early for me. Yeah, a little bit too premature for me. I wanted a more, like maybe one more 5 minutes, higher low here, so you can minimize your risk. If you're buying this break, 294, you're risking at 283, which is a 10-cent risk. And it needs to go like three tens to actually make 1-to-1 ratio. So it's not the best in terms of risk reward. So you want this to have a higher low here, where you can minimize that risk, like a 4-cent, 5-cent risk, and then potentially if it goes 10 cents, then it'll be a 2-to-1. If you're risking $50, you can make 150. So I try to keep my risk management in check, no FOMO. So you can see here another early breakout. People probably buying it a little early, and chasers. So now they're stopping out here. So you don't want to get it in and out like that. But it did hold that long flag as resistance, which is good. It can still set up for this bigger flag, but you're gonna need more consolidation after this push here. I'll say like 15 more, 15 more minutes. It's not ready. Yeah, VCNX, I kind of explained this earlier. It's trying to bounce off this 15-minute chart, and then it will attempt the VWAP test or the 770 break or 770 support resistance. If it gets over 770 and higher low at the 770 area, I would buy that flag there. But right now it looks pretty bearish. It's not long. And I don't really dip buy into things like this because it can always just trend lower, or you might dip buy and you might have a little bounce, but it'll be a quick scalp because you're still on a downtrend. So UAVS, let's see. So all the time frame is caught up. The only thing concerning is about this chart. Oh, thanks, Jamiza, for subbing. The only thing about this chart is you can see most of the volume is in the morning here at 640s. So you might have a lot of bag holders here that are going to try to sell when you get any push up here. So although this chart looks kind of attracting, 215. It's a 5-minute test, but yeah, I'll probably scout for something else. But if it does, end up holding here, if it holds here higher low for like a 5-cent risk, I might just take this, for a small scalp, but it might not go too far because there's a lot of overhead buyers over here that are willing to sell, so that's gonna hold the price down. But it'll be interesting for a little scalp, maybe just a 10-cent, 15-cent scalp. But let's see. MTC. So VILT looks all right. Um, 1350s is a level. But it's a little too spready. It's gonna be hard to trade unless you size in, you know, small or accordingly to the spread. It's like a 20-cent spread, so it's gonna be hard to manage your risk unless you go small. And the volume, you know, it's a little low. Hey, oh yes, I went over VCNX a couple times, but I can just mention a little bit. So it's consolidating on the 15-minute chart, and it kind of bounced towards the 5-minute now, and then now it's kind of come back. It is extending on the 15-minute chart. As you can see here, you have 4 red candles on the 15-minute. So it may go lower, but it's kind of due for a correction, so I think it might bounce towards the VWAP area around 340s, 350s. But to be for a long, it needs to set up above 770s. So you can see this as a really key level as here. So it needs to pop over 770, confirm 770 as support above that, and then look for a flag to trade long there. So it doesn't look good now to buy, and I'm not a dip buyer because, you know, you can dip buy around here, and then, you know, that'll just be a fade, and you can see it's an inverted cup and handle. So those of you that are new here, these are the setups that trade. Okay, so here you go. So these are the 2 setups I trade, and then I'll be eyeing these setups. So the long setup is that flag level support level, and then you buy those break of the flag line, risking that prior low, and on the long side will be a inverted cup and handle. So you got that extension, and then you get some inverted cup, and then a small handle, and then the break of that cup line is where you want to enter short. So a few examples of today. I made a trade today as well, was on JFU. So JFU had a cup and handle here. So you can see this cup and then a handle. But I also was looking at this cup, small cup and handle here to really minimize my risk. So I got in 314 there, and expecting this to also create the handle from this bigger picture to also break. So it broke there, and then broke, and then washed out. So I covered at the hourly chart, and it's kind of trailing above this, kind of as expected. I think I was mentioning to chat earlier that you wanted to consolidate a little longer here. maybe the next hour. So it is doing that, and once the hourly candle close in 2 minutes, people will probably start shorting this once it break the lows here, 280s, and you might have room to the daily chart at 225. So you can see it's extended now. This candle is like kind of in the mid there of 235s. So JFU has room to pull back to 230s in the next day, or if not today. So this is gonna get interesting in a couple minutes. So maybe I'll watch this for another short trade. So that is one, and then the other example was VCNX, right? So VCNX, you can see that same picture. So the extension, so this is the extension, created a cup off the 770s, bounced a handle, break of 770, and this is where people would sell if you were long to stop, or short, right? People would enter short positions, and then when it bounced, people reshorted, and now it's going lower. So it's not a bear. I mean, it's not a bullish chart by any means. So once it confirms the 770 as support, then you'll have shorters that short this 770 level will become buyers, right? So that will squeeze the shorts from 770s. But that's not going to happen until 770 is a support level. So it can still happen maybe after lunch, afternoon, once this gets back over. But in the meantime, it's not a long trade. $2. So a lot of these plays, from my experience, depending I don't know what the company does, but I don't look into fundamental. But it could fade, all the way back down. You have this wick, so this candle is pretty ugly on the daily chart. So anytime you see like this wicked candle, it's pretty ugly, and it may go lower. So it may not go lower today, but maybe in the next day or two, it might go back to $4. So I definitely don't want to be a long-term trader or investor here. And also, there's this level here. So it's also you gotta look at the daily chart. So this $9.40, it pretty much hit that level as resistance. So that was also an area where you should sell or look, you look too short. But that's an area of interest where people are looking at. So that's why it kind of reached out today at 956, and ended up just falling. So I don't see it going back until 770 holds. That's the next support level. It can fade back down like all the other stocks. OC, like there's a lot of stocks that pop up like this, like OCGN, $18, go back to 19. Now it's on that 9 EMA daily, and you can see it's creating a little inverted cup here and a handle, and the break of this is going to go lower to $6. So there's a lot of stocks that are popping up, and I don't think it's like a long-term investing stocks unless you know a lot about the company and the fundamentals behind it. But a lot of these stocks that are below at least $20 will fade back down eventually. Yeah. Yeah. It is extended, so this move is pretty extended. I think it will retest 750s again today. And then depending on how it reacts, I would just sell your position there. But if it kind of holds strongly around that area and breaks 770, you may still have a chance to go longer. Let me go higher, but the hourly chart is at $5, so it might even reach $5 today. Yeah, so it's good to look at other time frames. So you can see this hourly chart. It's extended, so it's gonna have room to pull back to 550s today. So all these are like 99 exponential moving averages that I'm looking at. CTRM. Yeah, so CTRM, see another thing where the daily is extended. So you can see the 9 EMA of the daily was around here at $1 when it was trading up here. So you're gonna have that day where it pulls back. So you had this day where it pulls back. Now it's kind of holding that trend. So CTRM, it's not a trade for me, because this can be like the inverted cup and handle that I showed. So this is the handle, the cup, and the breakup $1 110, 110 here, or 111. You got that cup, and then the handle. Breakup 111 is gonna go lower. It's gonna go back to 80 cents. But if it kind of holds on here and maybe holds 140 as support, so you can see this 140, 137 is a key level. So support, broke below it, resistance, and then now it needs to get back 140 to be a kind of more of a long-term setup. But right now it can fade back down to 111 and then just break the 111, and I can see it go back to 80 cents. So CRMD, interesting. It has a nice daily chart. So you can see on the daily chart, extension, retest the 9 EMA, kind of like the CTRM chart that I just went over, and then now it's curling back, held the 1450 as support. You can see this is a key level, held at support on this day, and then now it's going higher. potentially this still has room. Maybe do a Fibonacci, like the 100% move, $20. So this can get interesting, but it's approaching lunchtime and the volume typically dies out, and the breakout may not be clean. So if CRMD holds 1810 as support, I might try to take this. But the spread is pretty wide as well, so not the most attracting. Hey Elson, so VCNX, I think as I mentioned, let me draw some stuff out. So as I mentioned, VCNX has 770 as support resistance level here. So you can see it ramped up, create the 770 support, and then had a cup and handle. So you got a cup, handle, and then the break of 770. People were shorting it and stopping out. So now that 770 is a key level. You can see it bounce here, and once it failed, that third time, people are selling again. So what you want, so the question is, can it go back to $8? It can, but the hourlies are down here at 530s. So this is not gonna attract the long-term traders until it retests this at 540s later today. But what you want to see eventually is it's going to attempt this break like this, and then a higher low here, and confirm 770 as support, and then there you could draw like a flag line, and then you could buy this break at 840s. So that's what you want to see, and that's what my trading style is. But right now it can continue to fade to the hourly chart, which is like $5.40. It already attempted to hold the 15-minute 9 EMA, and it attempted to hold here and it failed to hold, so now it's breaking below it. The next level is the 30-minute EMA, which is at $6, but after that it's gonna go below $5. Right now it's looking, you know, grim. Doesn't look not a lot of hope to it, but maybe after lunchtime you can get it back up to VWAP, and then it'll test VWAP, which is this blue level. So what you wanted to do, because right now your low day is around 580s. Yeah, it needs a level. So this is actually pre-market highs. The purple line I have here is pre-market high. So yeah, see, so this is the pre-market high. So maybe it'll bounce off pre-market high. Right here at 630s. So it's slowly approaching that. So so maybe it'll bounce off there. Retest VWAP, and then if it sets up a higher low and breaks VWAP, sets up higher low, sets up higher low here, breaks VWAP, confirm as support at 770. Sorry, so 770 is here, and then there'll be a flag line, and then you buy here, risking 770. So that's the long setup. And if that happens today, and it breaks that flag, I can see it breaking, you know, all times, right? I can see it going above $9. But the setup of that happening is a little bit low because you have the hourly is too far away. So to have those big moves, you need backup from large time frame players. So you can see this is the hourly chart. So larger time frame, they're waiting for this 540 level, right? You might have another candle like this, and then it'll set up in the hourly chart in the next 2 hours. And the 15-minute, it's a bit extended here, so I was expecting a bounce, like some green candle right here towards 770 again, but it didn't happen. It looks like it's a lot of weakness. People are just selling. If you guys haven't done so, feel free to subscribe to my or follow me on Twitter. It's where I'll post my this is where I post my kind of trading journey. Last month of January was a really hot month for me, so I made a total of $9,000, and pretty much I had only one down day, which was a $55 loss. And then you can see my weekly P&L and my daily P&Ls here, all day trades. This month, I'm already up 6,000 for the month, and I also post like recap videos on my YouTube. And also just post my P&L. So this was yesterday P&L, 862, and I try to post my entry and recaps and my thought process around it too as well. So JFU I also traded yesterday for this inverted cup and handle, shorted there, and then covers, re-shorted on this pop, and then cover some more, and eventually went lower again. And then you can see some other trades here, like some flag trade. So kind of what my flag animation is trading. So you can see here, you can see this level VWAP level, the blue line. You can see it held, and then holds as support. And this is on QS, by the way, so QuantumScape. And then there's the flag line. So that's where I bought at 66.20s here, 100 shares. But I ended up taking profit a little too early. But there was like a Fibonacci retracement. So you can see this Fibonacci retracement of this flagpole. And if you take that Fibonacci retracement, it hit 72. So it actually hit 72 yesterday. But you know, I didn't end up holding it all the way. But there could be some other plays there as well. Yeah, and I try to post my watch list every night. And the other day I had, you know, $1,000 winner on ONTX. So here's another flag play, or it's kind of like a cup and handle, right? It's a cup and handle for me. You got VWAP as support, the blue line. So I bought here, and then I just sold along the pops, dip out the 5-minute limit, and sold on the pops. So feel free to follow me there, and you get most of my updates, my trade history. But yeah, today I'm just up a total of $84. It's nothing right here. Nothing much. I had a JFU trade short that I went over, and just a small loss on CTXR. I can go over that real quick. So on here, so JFU, oh sorry, it's a JFU. So this was my JFU trade. There was like a inverted cup and then a handle. I showed it but there was also another small cup here and a handle. I showed it there, and that's where my entry was. And then it broke the bigger cup and handle, and then a cover on the hourly chart, orange line. Hey. Yeah, I've been talking to you guys. So VCNX, I know people have been commenting that a lot, and I kind of went over it, you know, multiple times today. It had a cup and handle. So 770 had a cup and handle, right? It broke here. Shorts piled in here at 770. 770 act as a resistance. People reshorted, people sold, and now it's fading. So it's not a long setup anymore. It would need to reclaim, right? Reclaim 770 as support. So I don't see it going up anytime soon, unless it comes back. I can see it fading all the way to $5. I think I mentioned the hourly chart. The hourly is way down here. So you need to look at multiple time frames, because there are traders that are swing traders. There are traders that are 5-minute traders, 15-minute traders. So if this hourly chart is not attracting to them, they will not buy. So the more the time frame lines up, you have more people willing to buy. And now, yeah, I mentioned also that this candle is really ugly. And then 940s. you can see there's a daily resistance at 940. This candle back in July, right? So when it was going up to this level, that's where you should sell. At least some, partial or most of your position, because that's where a lot of shorters will look into shorting that level. And also, this was the level where you had the most volume, in like pretty much the last highest volume after this day. But so I don't see it going back. It will probably fade the next few days back to $4. Yeah, so I think VCNX is, dead in that sense. So NXTD, oh, Will, I didn't see your question there on JFU, but for JFU, yeah, okay, so I kind of mentioned this. I don't know if people are on stream earlier, but I mentioned the flag break here after the hourly close. So it actually broke. I wasn't watching it. So for JFU, let's see. So JFU had a inverted cup and handle here. I shorted it, cover, and then after the consolidation, had another flag here, and then now that it broke this area, people are reshorting here. So JFU, I mentioned that it has room all the way to 240s or so, so 230s. If not today, it'll be the next coming days. It will probably trend back to 230s, or it'll catch up until the 90 may catch up. So JFU is not looking good for longs. Anurag, CASA. Let me look at CASA for you. Okay, so CASA looks pretty decent. Had a daily chart breakout at 10. Had a potential flag potentially here in the morning. But this was a tiny consolidation. We want a little bit consolidation here, and then this break. But yeah, this could have worked for a trade. And then depending on where you're at, it looks good so far. Depending where you buy and your time frame that you bought in, you can put your stop at 1150. If you want a tighter stop, 1190s. Yeah, so this looks good. Let's see on the daily time frame. I think I need to go back a little more. So on the daily, somewhat at resistance 13. Yeah, so there's some resistance at $13. So it might be, you know, good time to take profit around 13. Or stop when it hits below, you know, $12. Or if you want a little further below these lows, 1150s. But definitely stop out if it hits below hourly, which is like 1120s. So I don't know where your entry are, but I would take a lot of profits probably around the 13 area, because that could do a harsh pullback after that. MTC, so MTC. So MTC had kind of broke this trend line here. It's under the hourly, so it needs to get back over 5. On the daily, it looks somewhat. Yeah, I had a little breakout on the two-day breakout. But yeah, it's it might squeeze, so it tested the hourly here. So it's on a downtrend. It popped, tested the hourly, now it's acting as resistance on the 5 there. But yeah, it's not a buy for me here. I could see it maybe popping back over like $5.30s, but I don't see it as a long potential. It's way under VWAP, the volume weighted average price. So I'm gonna get my attention here on CTRX. So I had a trade here early in the morning for the flag break. It was a little early, so I was a little cautious. So I bought that break. It popped up like couple cents, and then I downsized and took a small loss, $14. Now it looks like it's setting up again. So 191's 195. So it's approaching lunchtime, so the breakout might not be as strong. But I'm gonna try this since it's holding this VWAP support at 191. I might try the 195 break. So when I start seeing the 195 starts to print and breaking, I'm probably gonna buy this at 195. I'm gonna risk $100, so that'd be roughly like 2,000 shares. So volume coming in. So I'll be cautious because it is lunchtime, so the volume is going to be dying out, and breakout doesn't tend to happen too strongly. So this is going to be a 195 break, risking 191, 190s. So VCNX is bearish. Probably go back below $6 today, unless it comes back over VWAP and hold 770 as support. Then I can see it going higher. Watching CTRX here, like if consolidate a little longer, and breaks 194, 195s, I might try this. Hopefully it consolidates for another 7 minutes so we get a 15-minute candle close. But if it does break here, I'm willing to kind of risk this 4 cents, 5 cents risk. Hey Con, depending on what platform you use, you might have some screeners. So you can see here I have like a screener that tells me stocks that are up 10% for today with a good amount of volume. So like 300% of volume, 1 million volume. So it shows a list of stocks that are up that much. So VCNX is number 1 for today, up $117. And then I just look through the list and scan through all the charts here, and whatever looks like it's setting up for long or short, I'll take those. But the two setup I trade is these setups, right? So the long flags, patiently waiting, waiting for these stocks for the best entry, and then selling, profits along the way. And it's all about risk management in the end. And to survive the market, you need to be able to manage your risk. Because if you don't have a stop point, if you don't know where your entry is, you don't know where your stop is, then either one, you're either bag holding and being a long-term investor, or two, if you don't take profits, then you'll end up also being just an investor, right? Yeah. So you also need to be learn to take profits and also learn to stop your entries. Yeah, and I think that was the right choice, because I don't see it coming back. It's probably going to $5.20 for VCNX. So depending on where you bought, like if you bought in here, right around above 770, your stop point should have been the 770 break, because this is a reversal signal for shorts to pile in, and other longs are stopping out here. So, and then I'm not a dip buyer, because if you're dip buying anywhere around here, you're getting screwed. It's just trending along the way. So you need it to have it set up to set up at a key level of support, kind of like the drawing I have down there. 770 is that key level, so it would need to I think I explained this earlier, but it would need to go like this. So right now it's like this, right? So when it bounced the 15-minute trend here, what you want to see is kind of having that as support. So it'll be like this, hits the 770 again, and then breaks the 770, and then creating 770 and now as support. And then this would be like a flag, and then you can buy here with your risk of 770. So this will be a one risk, right? And then the distance would be like 2 risk, 3 risk, 4 risk, and this would potentially go higher. Right now it's below this, and now it could just fade back to the hourly, which is around $5.40. So I don't see it bouncing. The 30-minute trend is here, so it might bounce off $6, and that's also a psychological number, a whole number. But 30-minute is not used a lot, so it might just break this and go back to the 540s. So knowing where to enter and knowing where to stop is really important in day trading and surviving the market, because if you can't control that, then you get a big loss and you'll take a long break. So I learned that the hard way a few times. So I've been trading for 4 years, and only like the last year and a half that I was becoming more profitable by learning all these mistakes. So let's see, what stock I was looking at before this. CTXR. Okay. So the other important thing is not to buy too early, because here if you buy early, it hasn't broken out yet, and you will eventually get stopped out. So sometimes I do that from time to time, but when I do that, I set a risk level of the prior low. Right. A lot of people say when the stocks are going lower, they say it is not a loss until you realize it. It's also the same when the stocks go up. It's also not a profit until you realize it. So you need to learn to take both profits and losses. I'm trading on the 1 minute, but I look at all time frames. So I have my 5-minute chart here, 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart here, 15-minute chart, hourly and daily, and then my main screen is the minute chart. But I have all the I created custom indicators to allow me to have the indicators of the larger time frame onto the minute chart. So these lines are representing larger time frame indicators. SNDL. SNDL is starting to bounce on the daily, but yeah, depending on where you buy SNDL, it's also not a long for me here. So yeah, it had this big day here. I think one of my biggest trade was SNDL. And so right now it looks like it could continue lower. It might, because it's extended on the 9 EMA, like so extended on the downside, it might bounce to 166 and then go back down, but it needs to get over the 9 EMA to go higher. But I don't see it going higher in the short time, because you have a lot of people trade it in this area, and anytime it probably pops over $2, people are going to start selling. So I do have a full-time job, and I live in the West Coast. So I usually just stream, the first, hour or two in the morning, depending on the action. And then after that, just sign out. But I do from time to time just trade in the afternoons as well, but I only stream in the morning. But if you haven't done so, you can follow my Twitter. And yeah, get up to date on like new videos, my daily P&L. So here is where I post my daily P&L, Last month I made a total of 9,000, and these are my daily in the last 3 months. And from last month I only had one red day. Every other days were green, so that's a 94% win rate on days. And then I also post my P&L here, and also the pictures of the graphs that I take here. So one of my biggest trade was SNDL back when it was trading around that $3 area. So this day, so SNDL, so this was an SNDL trade that I took. I had a flag here, you can see, up, support, and then break the flag. That's where I took it, and then I sold. And then in the afternoon I set up another flag here, had a support here, and then once it broke that flag, that's where I bought and sold, and then another flag here, bought, sold, and then I also shorted, right? So I trade both. So this is the wick with high volume. You can see the huge red candle in a wick, so you got a lot of buyers that are stuck, so they're gonna be more bearish now or selling. So I have this trend line here, and you can see it's somewhat a cup and handle for me. I shorted there, and then cover, short. So pretty much I did like 4 trades on SNDL during that $3 time frame, and it was all profit. So it's all about waiting for the right setups to form and taking the best trade while minimizing your risk. So hey Sai, so I went over VCNX like a dozen times today, but I can go over for you before I sign out today. No, so I mentioned to the chat and the other people here that it's going all the way back down to $5, 520s. So because 770 failed to hold your support and resistance, it's gonna go back down to 550 now to the hourly chart, and you might get a bounce off there, but your VWAP is at 740s, and you need to get back over 770 to be any bullish. Yeah, so I would cut your loss there, but you might get some hope. No. So VCNX is not going to be a good buy until it verify 770s support. Yeah, SNDL, did you buy today? Or you buy yesterday? So SNDL, if you look in the daily time frame, it is testing the yeah, SNDL, if you bought yesterday and you can cut for break even, I would take it, because this bounce might follow up with a red candle. But if it does pop back up and then kind of trending and then a flag on the daily, then it could be a good trade, but I wouldn't hope for that. Right now it's on the 9 EMA, so this is a good bounce off of that. So yeah, I would take any break even or small losses here. VCNX, yeah, if you're in at $6, I would take it off, because on the hourly it has room all the way to 520s, so it's going to continue fading all the way back down, so I would stop out. And then on the daily, this candle is really ugly. This wicked candle is ugly. So, and then also I explained earlier, this 940 area was resistance, so that's why you got this resistance level at around that 940 area. And then in the next coming days, I could see it fading back down to $4, so I wouldn't be holding this very long. So it might hit $5 today. Next day would probably be $4. Okay, so it's getting late in the morning and it's around lunchtime for East Coast, and volumes start dying. So I'm gonna call it a morning session today. But if you like my content and streaming, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll try to continue doing this every morning, roughly around 6:30 to 6:45, where I'll be live, but Western time. But I'll be signing off. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. See you guys next week.